Well, listeners, what's on my mind this morning is obviously.
I wonder.
I want to talk about cheese this morning. No, I'm kidding. It's obviously the historic by election result in East Portland. Major congratulations going out to Anne Marie Vaz. Yeah, it's a tremendous victory for her, for Andrew Holness as well, and for the Jamaica Labour Party. And likewise, a tremendous upset for Damian Crawford, Peter Phillips, and the People's National Party, because Crawford was given a PNP safe seat, a 30-year history of orange, and he screwed it up royally, both him and Dr. Peter Phillips. Despite the work that Anne Marie had put in and the advantage of time on the ground that she had, I say it was still the PNP's election to lose, Dennis. They had the advantages of history and party loyalty. And in Jamaican politics, those are two extremely powerful things.
True.
But this election tells me many things. 4 points I want to make in particular. One is that this new crowd of young Jamaicans, especially, aren't afraid to break with tradition. Indeed, it's the continuation of a trend that we've seen over the past 10 years, where we've had more than 10 years now, where we've had two one term administrations, the Golding administration and then the Simpson Miller administration. So the younger Jamaicans aren't afraid to vote people out that their parents and their grandparents had been loyal to. They aren't afraid to vote them out if they're dissatisfied. And after 30 years with the PNP, clearly the people of East Portland were dissatisfied. Party loyalty now make it no more. The electorate is changing and the political machinery needs to change with it. This needs to be a wake-up call, loud and clear. No seat is a safe seat anymore if the PNP can lose in East Portland. None at all. The second point, Peter Phillips is done as the leader of the PNP. He is done. He might as well just resign now. Matter of fact, he should have announced it last night.
Those are strong words.
He should have announced it last night. No, you didn't hear. On our way back, Dennis, from country, we stopped in Junction last night to get some food, and there were some PNP support. Lots of people were there. PNP, JLP were there doing the same thing, getting food on their way back to town. And you should have heard how the comrades were dunning Peter Phillips. Dennis saying he should go. Oh yes, they were dunning
Really?
him. Oh yes, they were. The ones we buck up out the road last night. And the fact is, he's led the party to another loss in a seat that was theirs to lose. He's been unpopular in the polls. And frankly, he's uninspiring and boring to watch and listen to. He tries, but he just doesn't have it. That je ne sais quoi, as the French say. Damien has it, and I'm coming to Damien shortly. And Andrew has developed it. He didn't have it naturally. But one of the reasons I think Peter should resign as party leader is not just because he doesn't have it, but also because he egged Damien on in this losing and disgusting strategy of attacking Anne Marie's intelligence. He was right there beside Damien, making similar disparaging remarks, rather than advising and steering the young man in a different direction. And it goes to show that Peter Phillips doesn't learn, because he used this strategy against Portia and it cost him. So what made him think that it would have a different outcome this time? Now, the PNP's own poll early in this process showed that Damien had the best chance of winning. So Peter made the right choice in choosing Damien. That was until he put his foot in his mouth and messed it all up. You remember the results of the Observer Nationwide Bill Johnson poll. Women turned against him. His unfavorability rating soared, and both Peter and Damien are to blame for that. You know, Peter Bunting must be salivating now, because he realized his two biggest immediate rivals are done in one blow. The two of them, one blow. Now to Damian Crawford. Is his political career done? I say only for now. He'll be back. His chances of eventually being prime minister are not ruined. I think he's still young enough to make a comeback. Remember, he told Cliff Hughes online that if he loses, he's leaving politics. Yeah, I don't believe him. I think he'll leave for now, but the spotlight is too intoxicating for him to resist forever. He loves the attention too much. And we already know he admitted in the same interview that he wants to be prime minister, so he'll be back. And when he does return, he'll have a good chance too if he learns from his mistakes, unlike Peter Phillips. Because also, unlike Peter Phillips, Damian Crawford has it. People love him. People are drawn to him. When he speaks, people listen. Every PNP event I've covered, it's Damien who gets the most forward, probably rivaling Mama P, and definitely more than Peter. And sometimes a loss isn't really a loss. Sometimes a loss is necessary to prepare you for an even bigger win. Sometimes you have to take the L in the short term to prepare you for the bigger victory. Lose the battle to win the war. And so this loss could be Damien's temporary setback, his preparation for something greater. And the best example of this is actually Andrew Holness, because the JLP under Andrew Holness, I think, is now in the early stages of a political dynasty. But Andrew Holness had to lose in 2011 to win in 2016. Had they won in 2011, Peter Phillips would be prime minister today, because the JLP would have given us the bitter medicine that they had warned of, and the people would have hated them for it. And also, Andrew Holness needed time to mature as a leader, and he needed to be battle-tested, which he was when Audley Shaw challenged him for the party leadership. He emerged on the other side of political defeat and internal challenge, a much stronger leader, and he earned his place. However, Andrew and the JLP now need to be very careful that they don't let their political success go to their heads. And refer back to my first point, this new Jamaican electorate will humble you real quick if they're not happy. The biggest threat to the new JLP dynasty is ego, which breeds corruption. When you feel like you can get away with anything because the people love you so much. And that's one of the main reasons Andrew fired Ruel Reid so quickly, right? Everyone was saying, oh, it was because he learned from Petrojam and the experience with Wheatley. But I think his quick reaction actually had more to do with this election. Had he not acted quickly, the situation would have become campaign fodder. Look how the JLP corrupt. Look how Ruel Reid still there. But Holness's quick action took the wind right out of that sail. We barely even remember it this week with all the excitement in East Portland. Andrew couldn't afford for Ruel's name to be called over and over and over, and for the negative association to affect this election campaign. I believe that's the real reason he moved as swiftly as he did, or at least part of it. So these are my thoughts after last night in East Portland. The political game has changed, and who wants to have a fighting chance in the next general election better get with it. That's what's on my mind.